What's going on, guys? Today here I have a 2013 Ram, mine specifically, that I'm working on here. So unfortunately I didn't record taking off the intake itself. There is other videos. Unfortunately I can't link them. I don't know how to. But anyway, so a lot of people who have replaced these either due to the intake runner valve failing or replacing the intake runner valve and still not resolving the issue. Now, I did see a couple videos of the intake alone being replaced, and then I also seen a couple with the intake runner valve, but none of them really actually showed like what the problem was or what was causing it. So typically with these trucks, you can't really disassemble anything on these intakes at all. You can't really split these open. But a lot of the times, this is where the intake runner valve will sit. In there you have a little piece there, which that actuator that I've already thrown on the new one is where that goes. Now, a lot of people who have replaced the intake runner valve and still get the same code always wonder, oh man, what's going on? Why didn't it fix it? Well, these intakes, you can't really disassemble them, nor can you really tell what the problem is. So, typically, a lot of people take these off. You can grab onto that little tab in there with some needle nose, and you can actually go ahead and try and move it some. Now, this one isn't really opening and closing as good as it should be, due to the fact that it's old as fuck. Excuse my language. But it is just not opening. Now, I have the actuator in this one, so it'll be easier to turn, but see how this one opens a lot more? Now, typically what happens with these is the inside of here, I believe they have like a flap or a door or something that you can open to force more air through. I'm not exactly sure how it works, so don't quote me on that. But typically, it either ends up being the intake itself having problems, or the wiring harness in there, which can also be known for causing problems. Typically, whenever you buy the intake runner valve from AutoZone or something, they'll include the wiring harness kit with it. Now, I already replaced my intake runner valve last year, and unfortunately it still didn't fix the problem. And I'm not too much of a wiring guy, so I just jumped to conclusions and said, hey, let's buy a new intake. So here we are today, explaining what's going on, and hoping to see if I can help some people out with this and their diagnosis as to why the light will not go away. Now, I should have explained what the symptoms are in the beginning. Typically, the symptoms for intake runner valve or bad intake will be if you go to start it, it'll have a really rough idle, or if you go to stomp on it, it will kick an engine light on, and it will usually send a code p1004. Now, you can clear that all you want, and sometimes it'll go away on its own. That does not mean that it's fixed. Now, typically, like I said, problems being internally is a lot of the big issues with these intakes, or the harness that goes to the back of the intake on here, because it's got two plugs. It's got one here, and then I know it has another one somewhere. I think it's on the side. I don't remember. Somewhere. Anyway. Oh, yeah, right here. This plug right here. So anyway, you got this plug, and you got the one underneath it. So typically the harness that goes to them will sometimes break in the wiring, and you may have to go through and put the new harness in there, because from what I know, the harnesses that originally come in here do tend to cause problems from time to time. Other than that, I really don't have much else for an explanation. I'm just a random DIY guy trying to fix the same problem that a lot of people have had with these intakes. So, regardless, I am going to end up changing this. I bought this from TRQ, or 1A Auto, whatever you want to call them. They actually have all the gaskets included with it, so you don't need to worry about buying the throttle body gasket or the intake gaskets underneath, because those come with. I'm in the process of swapping out the injectors right now. Those are loose. I just wanted to give a quick explanation as to a possibility of why the intake runner valve code may still be popping up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up swapping everything over onto the other intake, and I will get back to you guys with the results in the comments.